I think we're there.
I think
Hello,
so.
everybody, and welcome back to the Double D's Live podcast. Sorry, that seemed to take ages to absolutely connect. I hope you are all well. Muir, how are you?
I am good. I am good. I am turning us down in the background here so we don't have to listen to ourselves twice over. I am good. Thank you. How are you?
Good. Delightful. The echo. This episode it's bittersweet, isn't it, Muir?
It is.
And
It
it's
is.
a little bit on the sad side. I don't even feel like I want to go into how my week was because I don't even want to. It all seems a bit mundane, really, in the grand scheme of things. So basically, this week, Muir lost one of her beloved horses, the legend that is and was a Polidam. So this episode is going to be a little bit of a tribute to him, and just paying our respects where they're due. So, I would love to know a little bit about him, or I'd love to know a little bit about him before you got him. I would also love to know how you came to get him, because I understand that these horses they're few and far between. And then I would love to know your journey together since. So take it away.
So, Pulsar came the very first time I ever sat on Polydam. He came to us for pre-training, myself and Claire, when we were still in Kellistown. So that is not today nor yesterday now. And he came in. Sorry, I don't know what my dogs are doing in the background. Oh no, they're just playing. It's all okay. He came and it was actually lovely because when he was dropped off, usually you don't get to know very much about them, or you're not told, depending on what they are, what they've done. So he was a 4-year-old then.
Oh wow.
And he was big, gangly, and really awkward, but the kindest soul. So I brought him in. There was a small lunch pen. Brought him into the small lunch pen. Went, yeah, you got a chance sitting up on him. Like, he looks quite quiet. And that was it. It was just he was the type of horse that would teach you how to ride on the gallops. You didn't have to know anything. You could just sit. And he had obviously gotten a really good start in life. So he came from France. Patrick actually took a liking to him, and they ended up buying him. He was owned by two amazing men. They have an awful lot of horses and willies, but he then, unfortunately, so he went back, and he had kind of come and gone between us a couple of times. And to be honest, myself and Claire would be fighting over riding him because he was just lovely. He was just a dude. And I had kind of started thinking I would really like to get another thoroughbred. I've obviously had thoroughbreds the whole way through, but it was kind of at the point where I was like, right, I'd really love to start showing another thoroughbred and doing a little bit. So Claire actually got the phone call to say he had unfortunately had a racing career ending injury. And she got a phone call to say that he had done all of his
to that point, Mark.
Yeah, he was the devil. That fella ran in France and won in France and ran here and won here. And now look, like, he was hilarious. I think he was the kind of horse that he kind of had to like you a little bit. And if you got on with him, you got on very well with him. But if he didn't like you, he just wouldn't. He's a little bit like me, I might say, quite possibly. Let's call a spade, like. But he did. So he won 2 in France, and I think he won 4 over here, as far as I know. Now, he did run an awful lot, and it was like towards the end of his career, it was coming to an end anyway. But Claire got a phone call, and we said we'd go down and see him. And he was out the far side of Kilkenny. So we went down and we had a look, and we couldn't find him. He was in a big, massive field with 8 other horses, not sight nor sound of him, couldn't see him anywhere. So we ended up going back down again a couple of days later. And I said to Claire, we'll bring him home. We like him. He'll do. So I brought him home, let him out he was probably out for about 6-8 months before I did anything with him. Just literally head down, becoming horse again. out, but he was very protective. He used to like having something to protect. So he'd be always out with a couple of calves or a couple of the cattle, or he always had something, like even with the if we didn't have some of the horses here, he was always out with something because he was that type of horse. He liked minding other animals. So like himself and June were hilarious. Like they came together and that was it. Like they from the minute they set eyes on each other, it was, you'd nearly think that June was his mommy. It was fascinating. The relationship between the two of them was fascinating. So I then started riding him. We did a couple of shows. And then the devil, in his also protectiveness, got in the way of a hind leg of a pony trying to protect a calf. And yes, and unfortunately, that was the end of his ridden career. Now, look, at the time, I didn't think I was going to have.
What age was that now, Muir?
So that was 3 years ago now. Okay. So at the time, I thought he wasn't going to survive. Like I didn't know if we get him through that. And we did, thankfully. I was so lucky. We had Tim Brennan. He's a vet in Gorn, and Tim was absolutely, could not have been better. He knew Polidam his whole way through his racing career. He got him through his first injury, but he was so kind and so good to us. So good to us. Like when I took him out, I was floods of tears. Like I'm not going to be at home a horse, and he couldn't have been kinder to me. So good. We must have taken, I'd say, like no exaggeration, I'd say we took 25 x-rays of him. He's like, but I just want to see, and I just want to have a look, and if we do. So Tim was a huge part of his aftercare, and he was exceptionally good to us. Now I have to say, I wouldn't have gotten him through that without it. And then he recovered from that. And now he always had a big, massive scar. He had a little horseshoe-shaped scar on his leg after that. Didn't really affect him, as in he was quite mobile. He was still well able to gallop around the field when he wanted. He was still well able to be agile, now I have to say. But he was never going to be ridden again after that. That was our decision. I used to call him my most expensive field ornament. Like he was but he minded everything. He was so good. Like when I weaned AJ to him, and he minded her. When June came in, they were in together. Like he was exceptionally good to have around others, because he was so kind, and he would nearly go so far as to put himself in between you and another horse. Or you'd often see him with AJ and he'd give her a headbutt and a slap out of the way, like, come on to yourself there now. That's not how we behave around here. And then he decided he was going to colic on me. So he did a good job at doing that, in fairness to him. So he went about trying to leave this earth a few times before he actually managed it. But unfortunately, just before Christmas, he got a virus. We have been treating him the whole way through. He would improve, disimprove, improve again. And while it was incredibly difficult, and I think losing any animal is incredibly difficult, and I don't think it will ever get any easier, to be honest, I know he lived out an exceptionally happy retirement here. I am beyond honoured that I got to do it with him, and I got to be part of his second life. And I'm just glad he's not in pain, that he's not suffering, and he's in a very happy place. And in my head, he's in a very happy place, in some horse heaven somewhere, and he's happy out. But I am just so honoured that I got to be part of his life.
I love that. I love it. What age was he when he passed?
He was 13. He was 13. He's actually, where is he? He's on the wall here. I don't know if you can see him behind me. That's him there. That was him at his first show. He was.
Go get it. And bring it up. And then I want you to talk about the competitions that you did with him and the days that you have with him and stuff like that.
This was his very first day out. And this, I don't know if you can see it really clearly, but Oh, he was so handsome. His brow band and the rosettes at the side, they were his racing colours. And I had a matching scrunchie of his racing colours as well. Oh, it was really, I was so proud of myself. After you know how unorganised I am, Sarah, like I was so proud. So I'm going to get a frame made up. A friend of mine is actually making it for me. And I have his brow band, his rosettes, and his 2 front shoes. So he's going to be here forever with us. Will always be here forever with us. So his first show, I brought him in. He had been off. He hadn't been sat on for a year and a half. And I brought him into the arena in Clare's. And I really boldly, now I have to say, I threw saddle and bridle on him because I was like, sure, I want to see how sound he is. I want to see how he's going to move under saddle. Let's give it a go. And Claire was in the yard and she said to me, now, I'll be up there now in a couple of minutes and we'll have a little look. And if you need a leg up, Claire came up and I was on him in the arena. I would never do that with any other horse. Like even Theo, I wouldn't do it with. But there was something very special about that horse. Like the messages that I have gotten from people that had worked with him and ridden him in Willie's, and even I got a gorgeous message from a lady that used to ride him in France before he came over at the very start of Life After the Yard, when I started putting up bits about him, and she didn't know where he'd gone. She had never seen him, and she stumbled across him one day, and that was lovely because she had worked with him as a 2-year-old. So that was gorgeous. It's like, you're going to have to send me some pictures. I'd say he was desperately gangly and all legs and still his handsome face. But we entered him into a couple of shows. While I loved showing, it was not for Polidam. He did not love it. And I think we did 3. Now, he never did anything. He was never badly behaved. He just got bored and he just wanted an easier life, and he liked hacking. He loved being out in the arena. He would do anything, but showing just wasn't for him. And to be honest, I think even if he didn't get his injury, it wouldn't have been something we would have continued with anyway, because he just didn't enjoy it. And he was too nice a horse and too kind a horse to ever be put through something he didn't want to. So I think even if, like, I must root it out actually. I have a beautiful photo of Maeve, and like she's tiny, and she's walking around in Gorey, down in Gorey Show, and she's on Polidam and Claire is on Duvan, and the 2 of them headed off. It's like, all right, oh, well, there goes my horse. I just but he was just that. He was just that type of a horse. Like, there's some beautiful videos of Fionn when he was little, and he's brushing him over down the shed, and he's leading him out across the yard, and he's bringing him into the horse box. And he was a very, very steady horse. He was the type of horse that if you wanted to lead for something, he was the horse to do it, because nothing really fazed him. Nothing really bothered him. He was really reliable and really kind, really, really kind. And like, I know I've gotten unbelievably lucky with Theo as well, but he set the scene. He was the original OG. So there was very, very many tears here last week now, I have to say. And even trying to tell Fionny, and obviously we live on a farm, you know, he's used to animals coming and going, but this was very different. This was one of our own, and because he'd been here for so long, and he'd kind of seen us through so many different phases and parts, and he was kind of the companion horse for Duvan every summer. Like, Duvy used to go out with him, and he's definitely left a horse-shaped hole, I have to say now. But I got lovely message. I text Jackie Mullins because obviously I'd want them to know, and I'd been kind of sending them updates all along of what the 2 horses were doing. But I got the most beautiful message back from Jackie, just saying thank you for having him here, and that it was lovely to know he was minded and looked after and had a happy retirement, and that she was, obviously it was quite sad that she had heard that he had passed away. But it's lovely to know that you hear so many stories about racing and that we don't care, and you know, look, you're going to have that in every element of sport, but I think it's lovely to know that they really, really cared. Like, they want their horses to go somewhere that they're going to be looked after and they're going to be minded, and they want to see them continue and happily continue to the best of that horse's ability in whatever capacity that is. Like, they do lots of different bits and pieces, but I just thought it was really kind and very, very nice of her to come back with such a heartfelt message. Like, obviously she's an exceptionally busy lady and she has so much going on, but I just thought it was really lovely. I just thought it was very, very kind of her.
And the fact that even probably sees so many horses coming and going, you know what I mean? It would still be kind of special to her. It's hard because racing is so commercial. It's very, very easy to assume that when they're not fit for purpose any further, and I put that in inverted commas, if they're not fit for purpose, that they're thrown by the wayside. But the reality of it is the people that work with these horses, not even the owners as such, do you know what I mean? But the people that actually work with them, you know, they, no matter what the horse is like, the talent level or the character, or whether they're naughty or whether they're the best things in the world, you remember them. You remember working with them. You remember improvements made. You have stories to tell about them. You've got, you know, admiration for them. All of those things.
Like, even I was back in Clare's today. I went down to give her a hand, and like, we were kind of going through, say, the first couple of times that we sat up on him, or even going down to the gallops. Like, I remember the first day coming off the gallops with him, and I said to Claire, Jesus, he's a good one. And Claire started laughing. She said, have you looked him up yet? And I said, no. And she had a little look. I was going, oh yeah, look, he is actually quite good. But you could feel it. He was very, very powerful, but it was all in front. Everything came, like, the majority, because we work an awful lot, obviously, with the national hunt horses. The majority of our horses, the power is all behind and it's all impulsion. But he was so strong in front, and he had such a set of shoulders. But like, he'd fall over his own feet, like, forget himself and go, oh, I'm really sorry. Like, there was no badness,
the decorum.
Oh, 100%. And then be mortified, look at you like, oh, I didn't do that, sorry. I didn't mean it.
You put that there.
But exactly, yeah. Are those my feet? But look, I think he came into my life. I genuinely think he came into my life when I needed him. I had Annabelle, and Annabelle, as we all know at this stage, is so tough, and she's so hardy, and she made me question every single thing we ever achieved. She made me work for it, that devil. And it's not to take away from anything we have achieved, because I absolutely love her to death, and I always will, and that's how it is.
Just gave you nothing for free,
But he reminded me that it can be a little bit easier sometimes, and things can come quite naturally every now and again, and we don't have to fight over everything. And I think he just reminded me that there's a bit of kindness still there and still in them. And like, I used to laugh. People would say to me about coming down to sit up on horses, and I'd say, oh yeah, well, I have an Irish draft and I have a thoroughbred. We go with the Irish draft. Those thoroughbreds are mad. And I'd be looking at them going, if you knew, like, I'm not going to correct you, but if you knew my horses, you would not be going for the Irish draft. I'd stick you up in the thoroughbred and see how you get on. But he was definitely one of a kind. And you know what? It brings out the goodness in people. Like, the messages that I have gotten this week, Sarah, are just, they're just amazing. Like, the community, and I think we all know, like, right, we're a competitive bunch, and if we go out, the majority of people want to win, and we want our horses to succeed, and we want to succeed, but it brings out the love of the horses in people, and they know how hard it is, and they know it's a tough situation, and it brings out such compassion and such empathy, and it's so lovely. And like, some of the messages that I've gotten, and from people, obviously very close friends of mine, but from people that might have seen us at one show ever, but they know it's really hard, and they know that kind of what's coming from it, and that we're all just in it for the love of the horse. And I would really like to say thank you to people. You definitely got me through the weekend, because that was tough, I have to say. Even though Carlo did beat Tullo at home for the first time in 5 years at the weekend. That cheered me up a little bit. Yeah, we'll take that. But no, I would definitely just like to say thank you to people, because there was an awful lot of compassion, and it was just very kind, and it was lovely, and it was very, very badly needed. So I would just like to say thank you to people.
Well, that's lovely, and it's nice to hear the nice side of social media and people making an effort to reach out, and as you said, the respect that people have for one another. Having been in similar situations, I don't think anyone will wish it on anyone else, and it's a hard time, and it's nice to make an effort and be compassionate in those tough moments. So, the plus sides of being out there and sharing our horses and sharing our lives and all of that.
But sometimes, sorry, my dogs genuinely are not killing each other. They are just playing.
They sound like they're just wrestling on the floor. They're having a great time.
They are. They're just having the crack. Fiona's just come in and they're just having the crack. Yeah, I think it definitely, like, it brings out. We hear such horror stories about social media, and sometimes I forget to a point that people become invested in our horses, and that they're following our horses' journeys as well, and they become part of their lives. So, like, there was one lady sent me the most beautiful message there, like, oh God, when I say I cried, I sobbed and sobbed. But she said she had taken on, she was explaining how she had retrained a thoroughbred, and that it was so lovely to see, like, Polidam's journey and how we had documented it, and the growth, and the people that had come in, the physios that had worked on him, the specialists that had worked on him. And she said it was lovely to see a bit of reality, that when you had a shit day, you said you had a shit day, or when a class didn't go well or something, it was taking longer. She said it was just refreshing to see it. And like, when I put up stuff, I think I have to give myself a bit of a barrier, and nobody's going to watch this. Like, I'm not, so then I don't cringe and get embarrassed. But it was so lovely to know that other people had fallen in love with him and had seen how special he was, and that wanted to know what he was doing and how he was getting on and what was happening with him. And so it's very encouraging. I think it's given me a little bit of fresh hope about our entire social media, and I am very, very lucky with mine. Like, I have a lovely community. I don't really get any flack. I'm not overly controversial. I'm not really anything, so I don't get an awful lot of hatred. Bar that, remember that silly person that sent me the message to say I didn't really have alopecia? Silly person.
Yes. That was after one of your articles, wasn't it?
Yeah, I had written an article on having alopecia. I got a message to say that I didn't really have it, and I was only using it as clickbait. I was like, what is this? Carry on. What is this?
It's some of the stuff that you see is just crazy. Some of the stuff that you see is just crazy. But I suppose probably, just to kind of wrap up a tribute for him, like, he was just such a special horse, and as you say, touched so many lives, and positive kind of, I'm going to say like a role model, but like, it was...
Yeah, he was the OG, and always will be.
You know what I mean? You take a punt, and it's the perfect example of what it can be like. And unfortunately, obviously, he didn't have much of a long riding career afterwards with his injury, but he had a super retirement to the field, which is, as I believe, the ultimate dream for us all, to be able to retire our horses to the field. And then to be so well looked after as well, in his final days and stuff.
We were very lucky to get him, and I would like to think that he was very lucky to land here. And I would definitely, he brought an entire whole new spark to us, and that will never be forgotten. Never, ever. He will always be a little bit of us here. So, and again, just thank you to everybody, because everyone's just been so kind. So it was very cool. It was nice to see.
Amazing. I think we might just do a little bit of a kind of an Equitas kind of a catch up.
Yes.
We had a meeting yesterday co-founder meeting yesterday, which was great. So we have exciting plans in the pipeline, which we're not going to speak about yet until we have them a bit more solid, obviously, for for many reasons. But give ourselves a bit of breathing space. But yeah, exciting things coming up. But one of the things I did want to talk about was did you see? I know you did see it, but I'm asking this for for podcast purposes. That the British Showjumping brought out that they have permitted dark coloured breeches to be worn at all competitions. Yep. So another huge step in the right direction.
I absolutely love this, and like, I do a lot of showing. I love my showing. I love the attire for my showing. But I love now that it's becoming a choice, that we will have a choice. It doesn't have to be the long set standards and the traditions. And the reality of it is we are women, and the majority of us bleed once a month. And that does not end well with white jobbers.
Yeah.
It just, we can call it what we like, but it doesn't.
There's so many. So basically, just to kind of say, so when that got released, whatever, what I did was I went and I checked the rule books to see who had updated them, and as many of you will know, Events in Ireland they set the gold standard last year, 2024 January. They came out and said that dark colour breeches would be permitted across all disciplines, within the sport and at all levels, at all championships, whatever. So that was huge. I then looked at the other kind of affiliates and their rule books, and nothing had really changed. Showjumping Ireland have made an amendment. They have said that dark colour breeches can be worn at training show or league shows, basically the weekly league shows, but that at the bigger shows that the white jobbers were still to remain the dress code as standard. So they came back and informed me of that, which was great. Again, to step in the right direction. Hopefully they will make it across the board at some point. And there was a few others that came back saying that no, tradition was still high on their to-do list, and they were going to adhere to the current dress code, which is a little bit disappointing, but at the same time it's opening the conversations, and they came back having said that they had brought it to their boards and they had spoken about it or whatever. So look, those conversations are being had behind the scenes, which is something that wasn't happening a year or two ago. One of the things that got me thinking about was the article. So I have 2 articles drafted on our platform, and I just have to kind of put them in a coherent manner. But they're basically when we did the survey, there was anonymous quotes. People wrote in their thoughts all anonymously, and basically how they felt. And it wasn't just about periods. This is the thing that was just fascinating to me, and it, because necessarily I don't suffer with the conditions that all these women that were coming back in would suffer or whatever, or the experiences. It was quite hard to go like, oh my God, I never thought of it like that. Or it was very, very eye-opening. So I have those opinions.
Can you give us an example of one? Do you have one that stood out?
Off the top of my head, no, but if you literally give me 2 seconds, I'll be able to pull it up, because
it's only out of curiosity. It's just I remember reading them at the time and thinking, wow, do you know, some of these things I never would have thought of or been as same as yourself, been affected
so it's
by.
It's a kind of a series that we want to come out. So basically, like we when we run a survey, we obviously give people an option to have their voice at the end of it, and just to have you got anything else that you want to add or say, or and it gives their opinions, and that's what I pulled it from. So it's a series that I want to bring out that says, it's called Her Voice, and basically it's just opinions, women's opinions on different topics and different surveys that we run. So the article starts with, like, please note this article is made up entirely of quotes from members of the equestrian community that filled out the Why Can't We survey in 2023. These are the sole opinions of each individual member. Equitas has not edited these opinions in any way, and all members remain anonymous. So I think that's important to say, like, I have not touched these. I literally copied and pasted them across. I'll read out a handful of them. One of them says, as a coach, I see it a lot with young females. They become very self-conscious, and many will simply avoid participation, Like, that is just the stats behind that. It's not like 50% of women, young females, drop out of sport before the age of 15. Like 50%. Like, that is just incredible. It says it brings focus on the attire instead of the performance and fear of menstrual leakage. Let me see. I'm trying to get a kind of a wide variety. Another person's in saying, I don't think it stops women from participating. So there's definitely a variety of opinions in there.
Which is interesting to hear in itself, because it's nice to kind of get both sides and to hear both sides of it.
And that's it. Like, I literally pulled everything that was there. It's broken down into 2 different articles just because of the number of comments that we had. But it was like, white jobbers provide no modesty or camouflage to hide accidents. Even on a good day, they're quite see-through. It's very impractical for colourful women. The horror of your period starting and being exposed, the transparency of white jobbers, the constant battle of trying to keep them clean. It's ridiculous old-fashioned tradition that should not be mandatory. And these are all well and good, and I think people are kind of writing what they want to say in short form words. But when you actually get talking to people, and you listen to their story, everyone has a story about either a near miss or an embarrassing moment, or sometimes they're mortified or whatever. And it's when you get talking to them and you listen to them and they go like, oh my God, this one time it happened to me. You're like, it shouldn't even be a thing. Or if it is a thing, that there should be an alternative. You know what I mean? So it's there was an article I published an article last week just to say that about the British Showjumping, which was a great step forward. And then I'll publish these and just let people read other opinions on it, and just, as I said, keep the conversation open. And that's probably what the most important thing is, where this is concerned. And hopefully the other affiliates, as time goes on, they will relax their rules a little bit and be able to see and listen to their members. And no, not everyone will show up wearing dark coloured jobbers, but they should have a choice. Isn't that what it's about?
Yeah, but it should be the choice. And as you say, at least the conversations are opening up now. Like, it has created that change, whereas before we couldn't even have the conversations about it. It wasn't entertained at all. So at least there is definite movement forward. An event in Ireland, I think, were they were the first, weren't they? And they made a huge step forward, and it was a brave and bold move.
And they did it in totality. It wasn't like a half step and then kind of like went the full way. They went, actually, no, you're 100% right. Dignity over tradition. Our riders deserve it. Our membership is made up of however percentage is female, and they deserve the choice. And the men too. Like, I mean, it's not just a rule that's there for the women. The men have a choice too. So, but it's so nice. It was refreshing to be able to talk about it again and to kind of ask the questions. And look, realistically, it'll probably happen every January 2025 or every January for the next few years until they see how it goes. Just asking questions.
We're just putting it out there.
Checking the rule books, asking the questions. So that was kind of one of the things that I want to get, and I'm kind of saying it on here to hold myself accountable, that I do publish these articles. They've been sitting there for so long, and I haven't really had the right kind of moment to bring it out. But the fact that it was brought up again this January, we've had a few responses in and stuff like that. I just said, look, do you know what? I think it's a nice piece to be able to share. And it's, as I said, it's nothing really to do with Equitas at all. It's everyone else's opinions. And I just think there's a wide variety in there, and it's just good for us to kind of to know about it. And as we said, with Equitas, we're looking at doing a lot more kind of surveys. We're looking to be a bit more data driven as the year goes on. So we have the results of this survey. It was very well received. We have a lot of feedback from it, and a lot of data from it. So it's great to be able to kind of put that into some sort of tangible action going forward, and then set the scene for the other surveys to come, that we can do the same and share people's opinions, and everything will obviously be anonymous. But it's
But
I'm looking
it's
forward to it.
so,
You know me and
it
Dash
always, Sarah's very good with it, lads, I have to say. But it's so fascinating. Like I think we're very fortunate, like, because we get to hear kind of both sides of most of it. So it's lovely to be able to sit back and say, okay, well, I can understand where you're coming from. And we're not saying that you don't have to wear them, but we would appreciate a choice. And if
Yeah.
it suits, then you can, and if it doesn't, then you can't. Or like down to the simplest forms. If you don't have a clean pair of white jumpers, you do not have to panic. You
Yeah.
can wear a different pair. It's not, we just want to make the choice available for people. But I think the more the community gets involved and the more that they tell us.
Yeah. Did you see the reel that we shared to Equitas the other day about the I'm very proud of my pelvic floor. There was a
I did like that one.
on like it looked like they were on Gladiator or something, and she was like, I want to thank the pelvic floor. It did better than I thought it would.
Well,
I'm so glad you all. She was like, okay, that's too much information. I was like, it's true. It's the absolute truth. So I am looking at now, like, it's baby number 3, please God, in June. And I'm looking at coming back. And I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely going to need help with that. So.
Yes.
So yeah, the year of the pelvic floor 2025. So yeah, hopefully we can.
We do have a little guest star here. Hold on now.
We do. Show it.
Come here. Come here. Come here.
Is this Paige?
I can't actually listen. No, this is not Paige. Okay, hold on. Please ignore the state of my kitchen now, everybody, because I'm going to have to bring the.
Oh, hello.
This is Max. Max has come to stay with us for a couple of days, but he is very cool. I have to say, we like Max.
He is lovely.
He's like a giant seal. See, you're up there now.
Really
Max is on he's beautiful. He's on the restricted breed list, so he is no longer allowed into kennels. So, so Max comes to stay with us when his owner used to go away for a little while, and he is like a giant seal, is the only way I can describe Max. He is hilarious, absolutely hilarious. But he's very cool. He is very cool. Now, my only problem with Max is that Max will not sleep on his own. And Max likes to sleep lying across your legs. And Max is about 20 kg. It gets quite interesting. Yes.
Are you sure he's not heavier than 20 kg? He looks like he's all muscle.
He is pure solid muscle. You are. He can also run exceedingly fast. And if you do not get out of the way quick enough, he has great fun trying to knock you down. So this is where the squealing was coming from earlier on, because himself and Paige knock great fun out of each other, and he thinks it's hilarious. And then poor old Pigeon is also at retirement age, and she gets sick of it, and she has enough, and she goes, no, I'm done now.
Yes.
As you do.
Well, you know what? The kennel's losses is Muir's gain. So happy out. Will we lighten the mood a little bit more and go to a few questions?
Yes.
We have a few kind of
100%.
like random questions that we have on our list that we can have a bit of fun answering. Do you want to can you see that list?
Yeah.
Do you want to pick one and then I can pick one?
Okay. What are we picking one each? Is this what we're doing?
Yeah, go on, yeah. Sure, might do a few of them, depending on how long it takes us. They're going to be somewhat quick fire. Now, let's hear a few of them.
Okay. What's your most memorable dream or nightmare?
Oh, God. I had one years and years ago. Now, I have a fear of fire. I don't know if anyone loves fire, but I have a genuine kind of fear of fire. But I dreamt years ago that the house was filling up with lava. And this was like my home house, like when we were living in Dublin. And yeah, it has always stuck with me. I don't know. So lava is like my worst nightmare. I have no idea why.
Did you ever look it up?
No, it was just one of
Right.
those dreams. It wouldn't surprise me more, like, and it could be very, very, even saying it now, it could be very, very explained. But I could have been like under the weather. I could have had a temperature, and I could have been like almost
Yes, yeah,
hallucinating.
that
You know
it
what I
was
mean? But it
coming
was
out,
one of those
yeah.
dreams that was so vivid and so stuck with me. And I was like trying to get, we had a dog and a cat at the time. I was trying to get them up the stairs. I was trying to make sure everyone was out the way, like, you know what I mean? And so it's just one of those nightmares that has always stuck with me. And I genuinely do have a fear of fire because, well, there was another time where I nearly set my school bag on fire. So that might contribute to that too. But
That might do it, Sarah, to be fair.
we had one of these just the hobs where like it's just the kind of
Yeah.
it's an electric hob, so it was a flat top on it, and I was getting my school bag ready I was packing lunch and stuff like that, and I just put my school bag up on the hob, but obviously when I pushed it in from the outside of the counter towards the back of the wall, I knocked on one of the knobs, and the next thing I opened my school bag to put in my lunch and was met with smoke, and I was like, what the hell? So yeah. What about you?
So far, I don't even know how many years. I was going to give an estimate of years, but I actually don't know how many years. I had the same dream about once a week.
Stop.
And it was really odd. It was really bizarre. I've looked it up a good few times. There is lots of meanings to it in lots of different ways. But my home house is in an L shape, right?
Yeah.
And this is so random. Like this explains a lot of our conversations now yesterday, Sarah, about the workings of my brain. It was a giant elephant, right? And our house was actually built around the elephant. So the elephant's 4 legs were in our house. And we just used to work around them. Like you had shelves on the elephant leg. You had to go out and feed the elephant and clean up the... But genuinely, about once a week for, I'd say like 3 or 4 years, I had this dream. Now, there was always different things happening at home and different aspects, but the giant elephant in my house was always there.
And okay, so you said you looked it up. What are the possible meanings of the giant elephant?
Oh, sure, like elephant in the room, much like... I don't know what the elephant in the room was, but that was generally like, yeah. What, like, was there something I needed to discuss with my family or at home or like? But I mean, for years, like I don't know, and I used to speak about it a lot, but I suppose because I don't have it anymore, I haven't thought about it in a long time. But there's a lot of studies done on repetitive dreams. And when you keep having reoccurring dreams. But I do remember going in, I used to go to a lady that used to read my tarot cards a lot, like say once every 2 or 3 months. And I remember saying it to her and saying like, this is really odd. Like, I don't really understand what this is. And she had some really fascinating insights about the whole thing. But I came out going, hope I don't have that again. I'm done with that. I can leave that one behind. Mad.
Yeah, God. That is a real random one. Okay, another question for you here. If you could, or what's the most used emoji on your phone? I'm gonna check.
The giant poo. I know without even looking. It's 100% the giant poo because I use it numerous times every day.
Stop. Mine is a laughing face, and right behind it then is the star eyes. I'm obviously fangirling.
And you obviously send way politer text messages than I do.
Or I'm just going laughing at people and it's like, yeah, ha 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 ha, and then just nothing. Right, come on, you pick another one.
Ooh, how would you describe yourself in 3 words?
Oh my God. Do you know what actually, right? Do you know what? I actually did this. I actually did this for my ages ago. Like I'm talking, well, when I was getting married, on the run up to getting married,
Yeah.
I was doing some kind of challenge on Instagram or whatever, and it said like, "How would you describe yourself?" And I was like, actually, and at this stage, I was obviously getting married and had bridesmaids, and I was like, "Do
Yeah.
you know what I'm going to do? I don't want to come up with my own words. I am going to outsource this.
Oh,
I'm
I
going to
love it.
so I was
Did you
like, right,
ask your
girl.
bridesmaid?
I did, yeah. I did. So hang on, I've actually just found the
Love that.
messages, right? One of them. Okay, hang on. I am going to say them because, like, you know, so my
Yeah.
sister-in-law, right? She says benevolent, composed, confident, and then she said, and I only asked for 3, but she gave me a 4th, and the fourth is in capitals, assertive. She goes, sorry, did I say that last one?
Oh my God, I love that.
Yeah, assertive. And then one of the other girls was like, boss, independent, hilarious. They're not very good at keeping to the 3 words. They've said
Now,
so
Sarah, I'm surprised you didn't put them back in on this now.
well, yeah, I did. I was like, I didn't ask for more than 3. I was like, but yeah, I thought that was a fun. I was like, I've done this before. I've outsourced this before. So yeah, we'll go
Oh,
with
I
that. What about you?
love it. Oh God, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I know that and this does not count in any way, shape, or form now, I have to say. But before I started going out with Park, he was trying to find out about, like, when we had met first, and he was trying to find out a little bit more about me and who I was. And so he asked a friend of mine who we had grown up together, and he knew that I knew him relatively well. And he said to him one day, "What's the story with Muireann? Like, what's the crack?" And he started laughing, and he said, "I'll tell you now." He said, "She's a fine bird, but she's a bit fucking mad." And to this day, Porrick will quote that.
So the 3 words to describe yourself is bitch fucking mad.
Fucking mad. I wouldn't be far off there, in fairness. No, I don't know. I'd like to think I'm definitely determined. Probably determined, stubborn, and I'm a lot shyer than people think I am. I like to portray being quite bolshy and quite bold, but I am actually a lot shyer than people would think that I actually am.
Yeah, I
That is
think
definitely
yeah, having gotten to know you, there's definitely that side. You're so good at what you do, especially on camera and everything like that. It's hard to believe that you will be shy, but you can be. You can be.
Oh yeah.
But
It'll take me out of
guilty.
my comfort zone.
Also
And I
guilty.
can
Yeah. Or take you out of an
step back.
equestrian set. That's for me anyway.
Oh yeah. Oh, it should put me in a room with horsey people, and there's no stopping me. But there is definitely certain situations that I will find myself being shy in, which Shane finds hilarious because he can't get his head around it at all. Like, can't understand.
Right, we'll do one more. What is the most worn item in your wardrobe?
Ooh, my most worn item. I have a oh, do you hear that?
What
Do
was
you have an
that?
answer for me?
What did he say?
Come here. If you're going to shout answers, you're going to have to come in and tell people. Actually, I have to show people your hair anyway. Come here quick, because I talked about it last week. Oh, no, you don't have. He's gone to get his sunglasses. Sorry.
You do. If you want to go on with your sunglasses, absolutely fine. What did he say?
I have many blue and white striped shirts, and I wear them all the time. I am really fun. Like, to the point, Sarah, that there was actually, I was looking at one the other day, and Fiona was with me, and he goes, "Mommy, no, just no. You have so many blue and white striped shirts."
So funny.
Yes,
That's so
really
funny that
handy.
he
Like,
knows that about you.
Oh yeah, yeah. Right, come here, quick. Come on, because we only have a few minutes.
Oh, I don't know what's cooler, the hairdo or the sunglasses. Fiona, that is impressive. Very, very impressive. That's brilliant.
I don't know where I got him out of it all. But sure, he's happy
Absolutely
and
walking
confident.
Absolutely walking.
What is yours?
Mine would probably most definitely be my Bellino jacket.
Do you know what? That's what I was actually thinking. I was like, Sarah's going to
Yeah.
pick the beautiful coat. Yeah.
Like, I wear that all the time. As in, there's never, in my opinion, an occasion that it doesn't work with. It's waterproof. It doesn't make me sweat. I can work in it. You know what I mean? Like, I can wear it to the yard. I can wear it to drop Paige off, and it's, I can wear it on
That's
camera.
so lovely.
It's probably definitely like it was worth the money that I spent on it. And it wasn't like super. It was about €250. So it wasn't like
What's
super.
that saying? What's the one? Buy well, buy once.
Yeah, buy well, buy once or whatever. But it's more even like cost per wear. It's like Jesus Christ. I've literally worn it to the cows come home. It's just it's just one of the things I just keep grabbing. And you know it owes me nothing at this stage. But that's probably definitely my most. And I don't feel one bit embarrassed about it. I don't mind being on camera 50 billion thousand times wearing it. I'm like, it's a great coat. So
wait till you see my next blue and white shirt. I'm going to surprise you all.
I have no bones about the blue and white shirt. It looks good. Okay, your right and wrong of the week.
So my ride of the week is I have been working very hard. I never thought I would say the sentence in my life. I've been working very hard on myself the last little while. My head was getting the better of me and it was all starting to wobble a wee bit. But my ride of the week is actually getting to know myself better. And I know that sounds a little bit pretentious, but getting to understand how I tick and my reactions and why I react to things like that, and actually following my gut more and learning to listen to myself a lot more. I am quite good at doing it on a horse. I can go up my gut on a horse, but in myself and my reactions and actually listening to me, I think, and it's like,
It's like having those light bulb moments where you kind of finally understand why certain things happen. And yes, we apply it to our horses and we apply it to training and we can apply it to work scenarios a lot. But it's very, very hard to do that when it comes to yourself. But you should still, and hopefully you did, have the same sense of achievement by going, that makes sense. I do that. And if I do this instead, well, that will work better for me. And because so much of it, like what's getting into our heads is actually not knowing, are we normal? Is this okay? What do I do to fix it? It's the lack of understanding of it. Yeah.
And you start questioning and it just it spirals and builds, and just being able to take a little step back and just go, actually, no, this is okay. I'm all right. And my wrong of the week is salad. Lads, you can say what you like. Absolutely.
From the talk, it was like, Muireann's wrong. Salad.
Salad. Just salad. Salad in general. I am so sick of salad. I can't actually, and I like a good salad. I genuinely do. Like, here comes Fiona with cucumber. I like a good salad, but I'm so sick of salad.
Oh
golly.
God. Do you know, when I was pregnant with, well, both girls actually, I had a craving for Chopped. I was like, John used to bring me home a wrapped Caesar salad from Chopped, and it was just heavenly. Yeah, I used to bring, myself and Paige used to go to a class in Navan on a Friday, and then I'd go around the corner and I'd get a Chopped salad for lunch, and it was just absolutely delicious. Yeah, I must.
Actually, maybe that might give me back my love a little bit. Maybe I'll treat myself to a Chopped salad tomorrow. because I'm so done with salads.
I know, I
What
wouldn't
about
be
yourself?
very. So my ride of the week is coffee because I can drink it again.
Yay!
Yeah, the only kind of aversion that I had early days with this pregnancy was coffee. I couldn't drink any coffee. And I wasn't a massive coffee drinker anyway. Like I'd only have maybe 1 or 2 cups a day because I was either breastfeeding or pregnant
Yeah.
for the last 15 years. It's what it feels like. But so I was obviously like rationing my coffee, so it was always a treat. When I get to sit down and have a cup, and then all of a sudden I'd have a cup and I'd be like, no, I actually can't. And then one of the days we went for a walk, and I was like, do you know what I'll get a mocha because it's obviously like a bit of hot chocolate in there too.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's kind of, you know, see, no, still couldn't do it. I was like, oh my God, like I could drink it, but I wouldn't enjoy it, and then I'd feel sick after it. So I'd be like, no,
Oh,
I
no.
actually can't. Anyway, I'm back, able to have one black coffee a day, and it's definitely my ride of the week for sure. Definitely my ride of the week. And then my wrong of the week is a storm that's due on Friday. I think it's just I'm not looking forward to it, and I'm like, I just have that feeling like pending doom, like people are gonna fleece the shops, and it's just gonna be a nightmare again. And I just said to John,
toilet roll left anywhere. Like,
yeah, I was just saying to John, is there anything that we can do to safeguard? Like, can we protect our electricity in some way? Can we, you know? And he was like, no, we're doing everything that we can. And I was like, okay. So, you know, it's just that kind of like.
Yeah, like we were talking about bringing up extra stuff for the stove and making sure that the flashlights were sorted out and all that crap. But you're just going, oh, here we go again. Like,
I know.
can I not just leave us
Hopefully
alone
it's
for?
not as bad as people think, but you know yourself, you're just kind of.
Well, Fiona's absolutely delighted because all the schools are closed, so he has no school on Friday. So he thinks all of his Christmases are coming once.
Lovely.
Yeah, well, I think now I stand to be corrected on this, but I think once they hit a red warning, they have to close. I don't think they can open. But I do stand to be corrected.
I remember when you were in work with the transport company again, red warning, no deliveries going out, everything had to stop. You weren't allowed.
Had to stop. Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully everybody stays safe and it's not as bad as we think. And it blows over quickly, and everyone is safe and well at the back end of it. We also have actually, and this is not a wrong of the week, this is probably a right of the week. We have Paige's birthday. Paige is 3 tomorrow.
Yeah.
So where the hell did that go? So she's 3 tomorrow. So we have a little party for her on Sunday, which is grand. Looking forward to having family over. And I'm gonna. Well, when I say baking, I baked a cake there a couple of weeks ago. It wasn't a total fail, so I don't think I'll probably bake it again. I think I'll probably just do a rocky road, but we'll go with it anyway. So that is.
I love it. Wasn't a total fail.
It wasn't a total. No, it actually just wasn't. I just didn't love it. Now, Mom's like, that's really nice, and like even John and my dad, whatever, were like, but that's really, really nice. And I was like, yeah, maybe I just don't like that kind of cake. And I was like, well, if I don't like it and I'm not going to want to eat it, then I'm not going to make it.
No, and a rocky road is always a good call. In fairness, like who doesn't love rocky road?
She's chocolate mad at the moment. Everything is. Can I have a chocolate muffin? Can I have a chocolate muffin? So anyway, I think she'd be delighted to be able to be told, yes, you can have it at your birthday.
I'm going to ring her and tell her to take full advantage.
I know. I'm not quite sure. I keep saying to her, what age is she? She goes, 3 candles. So all she's thinking about is the cake and blowing out the candles.
Love it.
So have you got anything up for the next few days? The rest of the weekend even?
No, the usual. We have a couple of rugby matches if they go ahead. They're supposed to be on Saturday and Sunday. And then the rink in Dundrum is finishing up this weekend. So we're having, because obviously it stayed open all over Christmas, we didn't have a Christmas party or anything. So there is a Christmas party on Sunday night. So I'm going to go up to the lads for a little while to that. And that's it, really. That's the extent of it. Yeah. We'll have a quieter weekend this weekend, but a nice full weekend. Yeah. Hopefully, as long as everybody stays safe and sound.
Exactly. Hopefully everything goes well, and that the storm isn't as bad as we think it's going to be, and that we get to catch up next Tuesday.
Yes. Have a Tuesday.
Talk to you then. Bye.